Here is the trap nobody warns a new cigar buyer about. The darker, stronger, pricier the stick, the better it must be. That is backwards. Darker is not better. It is just more nicotine. And enough of it puts a first-timer flat on the couch, wishing they never started. Beginners get handed the strongest name on the shelf as a compliment, and quietly give up the hobby over it. So we ran the receipts on 10 brands a beginner gets steered toward. And the pattern is brutal. 5 of these are built to drain a rookie's wallet, or put him on the floor. And the worst offender is a $50 legend people treat like a rite of passage. The 5 that actually earn your money are names you have probably never heard of. And the best one costs about $4 and quietly beats that $50 legend. Here is exactly what to buy first, and what to put back before it makes a fool of you. Avoid number 5. Gurkha. Start with the most expensive looking box on the shelf. Gurkha is the one wrapped like a gift for a king, and that box is the whole product. A stick that runs $8 to $10 in the real world wears a luxury tag, so it can live in a permanent state of being marked down. The value breakdown at Mind Balance, backed by the AI Cigar Explorer pricing data, lays it out plainly. You are not scoring a luxury cigar at 80% off. You are paying real money for a discount that never ends. Then there is what shows up in the box. Go read the Cigar.com forum thread asking whether all Gurkhas are even made to one standard. Plugged draws that will not pull. Wrappers that come apart in your fingers. Because the production gets farmed out across factories, quality control is a roll of the dice. The band says $50, the leaf says $8, and the construction says neither. You did not buy a luxury cigar. You bought the box it came in. You save that box for a big night, you finally cut the one stick inside, and it will not pull air at all. Credit where it is due, a well-kept Gurkha can be perfectly fine. The problem is paying luxury money for a lottery ticket. So if a buddy hands you one, fine. Do not buy the box yourself. Gurkha only overcharges you. Cohiba does something quieter and costlier. Avoid number 4. Cohiba. This is the one cigar name a brand new buyer already knows. And that recognition is exactly what you are being charged for. The Cohiba a beginner grabs in a US shop is the non-Cuban Red Dot, a Dominican blend priced entirely for the little red circle on the band. Holt's own staff review calls it possibly the most egregiously overpriced blend they sell. Around $20 for a stick, and you are handing that $20 over for the name, not the tobacco inside it. And it gets worse. Cohiba is the single most counterfeited name a rookie reaches for, especially online or on vacation. Cigar Aficionado has a whole piece on the fakes. $20 for the most faked band in the business. If it is real, you overpaid. If it is not, you got nothing. The name is real history, just not in this Dominican box. So you splurge on the one name you actually trust, and you may not even be holding the real thing. Do not do it. Take that same $20 and put it toward 2 of the sticks coming up in the back half, both of which outclass this. Cohiba overcharges you for a name. Camacho stops charging your wallet and starts charging your body. Avoid number 3. Infused cigars. Quick breather here because this one is a rule, not a beating. Walk the beginner shelf and you hit the infused sticks. Acid and the coffee-soaked, botanical-flavored lineup that looks fun and friendly to a newcomer. And here is the honest part everyone skips. These are well made. Cigar World's Deep Dive and Cigar Advisor both cover them fairly. And Cigar Advisor even calls them the lovable misfits of the industry. Nobody is calling this junk. The problem is only the word first. These sticks are flavored to sit somewhere near candy, and they cover up what actual tobacco does. Start here and your palate learns the candy, not the cigar. Spend a whole year on Infused and a real Connecticut reads as nothing to your palate. You paid to numb the exact sense this hobby runs on. So the rule is simple. Do not let your first cigar be an infused one. Come back to it later as a fun change of pace if you enjoy it. Just do not let it be the thing that teaches you what a cigar is. That covers the wallet and the shortcut. What is left is raw strength, and the final 2 names hit hardest. Avoid number 2. Camacho Corojo. The compliment stick is where this gets personal. Somebody who knows cigars hands a newcomer a Camacho Corojo to be generous, because it is a genuine premium name. That is exactly the trap. The Camacho Corojo is built to come out swinging. Cigar Advisor's full-bodied guide and Casas Fumando both file it among the strongest premium cigars in production, and both wave beginners off it directly. This is the name that leaves you lightheaded and green a few minutes in, off a cigar somebody handed you as a compliment. This is the trap from the top of the video snapping shut. Dark and strong never meant better. It only ever meant more nicotine, and this one leaves leaves a new palate dizzy and sick inside a few minutes. None of this means the leaf is bad. The Camacho Corojo is genuinely well built. It is simply not your first one, or your 10th. Set it on the shelf and give it a year while you start somewhere mild. This one only hurts you with raw strength. The last name on the avoid list stacks that same strength on top of the biggest price tag of the night. Avoid number 1. Liga Privada No. 9. Here is the $50 legend the whole hook was pointing at. Liga Privada No. 9 is the grail Maduro every beginner hears about and starts chasing before he has any business near it. And the people who sell it will tell you. The Neptune cigar product page itself notes it is not recommended as a first cigar. Luxury Cigar Club's own guide lands in the same place. This is a dark, heavy, expensive stick, and it is the single most punishing way to learn a lesson. So here is the human cost, and it is the reason this video exists. The people who sell it call the nicotine astonishing for its size. So you make the $50 grail your very first cigar, because it is the famous one, because it is the compliment. It flattens you inside 20 minutes. You decide cigars just are not for you, and you walk away from the whole thing over one stick somebody talked you into. That is the quit. To be fair, the Liga Privada No. 9 is a legitimately great cigar for a palate that has earned it. That is the point. Earn it later. Never, ever make it your first. Now let me flip this around, because the good news is much better than the bad news. That is the wall of traps. Marketing, a famous band, and pure machismo, and not one of them a good first cigar. Now here are 5 names almost nobody hands a beginner, and every single one of them earns your money instead of taking it. And the best of them costs about $4 and shames the $50 legend you just watched flatten a beginner. Watch the whole thing invert. Better number 5. Foundation Charter Oak Connecticut. The price on this one should not be possible. About $4.50. That is the Foundation Charter Oak Connecticut, and it is the $4 answer to everything we just buried. Holt's, Neptune, Junior, and Developing Pilates all land in the same spot on this one. It performs like a stick several times its price. This is the fiver that quietly beats the $20 Cohiba and shames that $50 Liga on pure value. No inflated band, no name tax, no lottery. The value is simply real, which is the exact opposite of the Gurkha fantasy. Here is the honest limit. The Charter Oak Connecticut is mild by design. It is an on-ramp, not the powerful stick you will want a year from now. That is a feature for a first cigar, not a flaw. So do not buy a box. Grab a single fiver, run 3 of them across a week, and let a genuinely good cigar teach your palate at $4 a lesson. Next up, a master blender's cheap line that reviewers put a number on. Better number 4. EP. Carrillo New Wave, Connecticut. Ernesto Perez Carrillo's New Wave, Connecticut is a legend hiding in the value bin. The man is a master blender with grail tier cigars to his name, and the New Wave, Connecticut is his low-profile, everyday line. The reason to trust it is a hard number. Half Wheel rated it 91 points. That is a real score from a serious outlet on a stick that runs about $4.50 to $7. A fact Holt's and Neptune both back up. A 91-point cigar for the price of a sandwich from one of the best blenders alive. Cohiba charges you $20 for a name and puts no number on anything. The catch is that almost nobody talks about it. There is no status in the band, no name your buddies will recognize across the room. You are buying quality that refuses to brag about itself. For a beginner, that is close to ideal because nobody is charging you extra for the label. So pick up a 5-pack, keep that 91 in your back pocket, and enjoy owning the cigar nobody else thinks to name drop. The next name grows its own tobacco on its own dirt, which is the exact thing Gurkha refuses to do. Better number 3, Aladino Connecticut. The Aladino Connecticut runs about $6.80, and it is one of the mildest premium cigars anyone makes. Cigar Dojo and Cigar Coop both treat it as a craft standout, and mild is precisely what a new palate wants. But the price is not the story here. The story is who makes it. Aladino comes from the Eiroa family, and they own the ground it grows on. They are farmers who grow their own leaf and run their own operation end to end. Hold that up against Gurkha. Gurkha farms production out across a spread of factories and hopes the box turns out right. The Eiroa family grows the tobacco on their own land, then builds the cigar themselves, and stakes the family name on every single one. Outsource and pray. Or grow it yourself and sign it. A bad Aladino has a family name on it, so there are almost none. Its only limit is that it is mild on purpose, so it is not for anyone anyone chasing power on day one. Run one right alongside the Charter Oak and feel the step up in craft for $2 more. And speaking of quality control, the next name built its whole reputation on it. Better number 2. Perdomo Lot 23, Connecticut. This is the insurance pick, and it is the direct answer to the very first name on this list. Remember the Gurkha problem, the plug draws and the roll of the dice on construction. The Perdomo Lot 23 Connecticut fixes exactly that, on purpose. Perdomo draw tests every single cigar before it leaves the factory. Every one. Holt's, Cigar Score, and Neptune all point to that process as the reason the Lot 23 is such a dependable pick for a new buyer at a fair mid-shelf price. Sit that side by side with where we started. Gurkha outsources across factories and hopes. Perdomo checks every stick individually before it ships. That is the whole difference between a lottery and a sure thing. And it is the reason a beginner never has to gamble on a dud. Where it falls short is the shelf appeal. The band is not flashy and the name will not turn heads. The value here is the process, not the label. So when you want a guaranteed good one every time, with zero surprises, this is the box to grab. Which leaves one last name, and this one you will actually recognize. Better, number 1. Oliva Connecticut Reserve. End on the famous name that actually earns it. The Oliva Connecticut Reserve is a brand a beginner might genuinely have heard of, and unlike the Cohiba, it deserves the recognition. Cigar Place, Cigar Coop, and Developing Pilates all line up behind it, and the number that seals it is 92 points with near-perfect construction. That is a well-known label that pays off the trust instead of billing you for it. It is the honest mirror of the Cohiba name tax. Same familiarity, opposite value. The one caveat is price. The Oliva Connecticut Reserve costs a bit more than the sleepers earlier in this half, but every extra dollar goes to construction, to that 92-point build, not to a story printed on the band. This is your graduation pick. When you have run the $4 sticks, trained your palate, and you finally want a recognizable name you can hand a friend without a second of doubt, this is the safe one to reach for. It is the famous name that keeps its promise. That is all 5, and every one of them beats the box you almost bought. So there is the whole game in one breath. 5 brands that bank on a beginner not knowing better, and 5 that quietly earn every dollar. Remember the one line that cracks it open. Darker is not better. It is just more nicotine. Every trap sold you a story instead of a cigar, whether it was the marketing, the famous band, or the raw strength. The winners sold you the opposite. Honest construction, real value, and a draw-tested guarantee. Start cheap and start mild, and let a $4 stick teach you before a $50 one humbles you. Tell me in the comments which trap almost got you, and send this to the beginner in your life before he buys the box.